Hello YouTube, I'm David Franklin. I've just filmed episode 1 of Lost Railways of Manchester, which started here at St Werburgh's Road and went along the Fallowfield loop. But the line from here down to East Didsbury was also a former railway line known as the Manchester South District line, and it actually continued on from East Didsbury through to Heaton, Mersey and Cheadle Heath. So in this bonus video we're going to explore the railways down to East Didsbury and beyond. Welcome to a bonus episode of Lost Railways of Manchester. The Manchester South District Railway was built by the Midland Railway in 1880, connecting Manchester Central with Stockport Dale, providing a through route to Sheffield and Derby via the Hope Valley and the Monsell line respectively, the latter of which has long since closed. In fact, I've done a video all about the Monsell line which you can go watch. The MSDR was taken over by the Cheshire Lines Committee in 1891. Today, the northern section of the MSDR between Old Trafford and Didsbury carries the South Manchester line of the Manchester Metrolink. As I mentioned in the Fallowfield loop video and in Secrets of the Metrolink, if you take a northbound tram from Furswood curving onto the Altrincham line, you can see where the tunnel carrying the MSDR used to continue north to its original Delta Junction. The original stations along the route were Chawton-cum-Hardy, Withington and Didsbury. At Chawton tram stop you can see some of the old platform of Chawton-cum-Hardy railway station. There's no trace of Withington station, which is also being called Withington and West Didsbury and Withington and Albert Park, which is close to today's West Didsbury tram stop. So I've come to the approximate site of the original Didsbury railway station. Didsbury Village tram stop is just around the corner. The trams are in fact below my feet right now in a tunnel. No trace of the original station building remains. However, one massive clue still remains that there was a railway station here. The old station clock is still here, jutting out into the road. In 1901, the Midland Railway built the Disley Cut-Off line from Didsbury to New Mills, avoiding Stockport Dale and Romiley, with a new station being built at Cheadle Heath. Part of the MSDR has been used by the Transpennine Cycle Trail, which runs along the Metrolink between Didsbury Village and East Didsbury, and continues through the site of Heaton Mersey railway station towards a massive X-shaped junction, with lines heading west to Timperley, northeast to Stockport Dale, and southeast to New Mills via the Disley Cut-Off. So I've come to the current end of the Metrolink line here at East Didsbury, providing a sort of interchange with East Didsbury railway station. Now the Manchester South District line did not end here, in fact it didn't even stop here, there was no original station here. The next one down the line was at Heaton Mersey, so let's go take a look. This, I believe, is the approximate site of Heaton Mersey station. Doesn't really look like there's any trace of it left. Interestingly, if the Metrolink is extended from East Didsbury to Stockport, then they will probably build a stop around here for Heaton Mersey. Just in case you wanted a clue that there was a disused railway here, here's the side of a bridge. The site of the Junction complex north of the Mersey River is now the Mersey Vale Nature Park. Here the walking trails start to get a little bit messy, so I suspect this is roughly where the two lines in the centre of the junction crossed. In fact, that looks like the remains of a bridge carrying one line over another. I think a little more investigation is in order. Looks like an abandoned railway bridge to me. It's just kind of here, in the middle of the suburbs, yet in the middle of nowhere. So I found the approximate location of the kind of northeast corner of the X-junction at Cheadle Heath / Heaton, Mersey. So this line, the northeast line, continued on towards Stockport, Tiviot, Dale, of which no trace remains today. The cycle path continues until it links up with roads in Stockport. I'm not going that way, so this is as far as I'm going. The remains of one bridgehead on the south side of the River Mersey can still be seen. And there it is, magnificent. If you follow along this line, you end up here in this rather unassuming Morrison's car park. This is the site of Cheadle Heath railway station, which was once 5 platforms wide and was served by the Midland Pullman, an express service between London St Pancras and Manchester Central, calling only here at Cheadle Heath. The South District Railway carried many through trains to London during this time. In its final years, the Midland Pullman ran from London St Pancras to Manchester Central via the Midland Main Line, the Monsell Line and the MSDR, calling only at Cheadle Heath, connecting the two cities in a record time of 3 hours and 15 minutes. The service was operated between 1960 and 1966, whilst electrification took place on the West Coast Main Line. In a way, it was a 1960s predecessor to Project Rio. Pretty much no trace remains of the actual station, but the line through here is still in use as a single-track freight line, and you can see it here just behind this fence. There are some occasional freight trains that come through here, running between the Peak Forest and the Mid-Cheshire line. I'm not sticking around to wait for one. Most of the South Manchester District Railway, along with Cheadle Heath Station, closed between 1967 and 1970. Manchester Central Station closed in 1969. The section between Old Trafford and Chawton remained open for freight services on the Fallowfield Loop until 1988. The East Didsbury tram line opened between 2011 and 2013. It was originally supposed to go all the way to Stockport, following the northern curve of the X-junction, but this was cut back during the 2014 Metrolink funding crisis. Plans have since been revived to finish the extension, though funding and timescales are yet to be finalised. Some of the lines that met at the X-junction do remain open for freight trains today, forming a route between the Mid-Cheshire line at Altrincham and New Mills, avoiding Manchester city centre. The Hazel Grove Chord was added in 1986, allowing trains from Stockport to access the Hope Valley line to Sheffield. Heading southwest from the X-junction, you get to Cheadle North, on what is now the aforementioned freight route between Altrincham and New Mills. It opened in 1866 and was run by the Cheshire Lines Committee, closing in 1964 under the Beeching Axe. Thankfully, the old station building here at Cheadle North is still completely intact and is now a pub appropriately named the Cheshire Line Tavern, to commemorate the Cheshire Lines Committee which owned the station and the line through here. Just down the road from Cheadle North is this, Cheadle Railway Station. This station and line were built by the London and North Western Railway, and despite being much better located than Cheadle North, right near Cheadle Village, it actually closed in 1917. Cheadle Station lay on what is now the route between Stockport and Altrincham, which was freight only for a while before the Metrolink took over the Altrincham line and national rail trains from Manchester to Chester via the Mid-Cheshire line were diverted via Stockport. Despite its ideal location in the centre of Cheadle Village, with easy connections to Manchester Piccadilly, at the time called London Road, the station closed in 1917 as it couldn't compete against electric trams. Local northern services continue to pass through to this day, though the station was never reopened. So I've made my way up to where the old platforms were. This is now the staff car park of the Alexandria Hospital, which means I'm probably not supposed to be here, but never mind. Again, track's still here, but not very much trace of the actual station itself. That was what once here, which in this case is not that surprising since it closed literally over 100 years ago. The line from Stockport via Cheadle and the line from the Junction via Cheadle North meet at Northenden, then join the Metrolink at Skelton Junction, running along the Metrolink though not sharing tracks down to Altrincham, the start of the Mid-Cheshire line. Skelton Junction used to be a lot more complicated, with further branches heading west, one joining the CLC route to Liverpool via Warrington, and the other running to Warrington via Dunham Massey. These lines are sadly long gone. To see more of the Stockport to Altrincham route, I took a train from Manchester Piccadilly towards Chester via Altrincham. There are now proposals to reopen Cheadle and other stations along this route, which could be served by tram trains, but I'll save that for another video. So that brings us to an end to this little bonus video. If you haven't seen the main Fallowfield loop video, which I haven't actually filmed yet, then go and click in the link in the description below. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe.